In this video, we will explore the concept of a minimum viable product, often referred to as an MVP. An MVP is all about building the smallest possible solution that still delivers value to your users. It's a crucial strategy for startups and innovators looking to test their ideas quickly and efficiently. Let's dive in and understand how to create an MVP that works. So, what exactly is a minimum viable product? An MVP is the smallest version of a product that you can release with just enough features to attract and satisfy early customers. It's built with the minimum effort required to validate your most important assumptions about your business idea. Think of it as a stepping stone towards a full product, allowing you to gather valuable feedback and make informed decisions along the way. The key is to provide maximum value with minimum effort. There are 3 core principles to keep in mind when developing your MVP. First, validate learning by testing your key assumptions early on and collecting real user feedback. This helps you understand what aspects of your product resonate with users and what needs improvement. Second, focus on core value by including only the essential features that directly address the primary problem your product aims to solve. Avoid adding unnecessary bells and whistles at this stage. Third, embrace the build, measure, learn cycle. This involves creating fast iterations of your product, quickly assessing their performance, and adjusting your strategy based on real data. It is about continuous improvement. It's important to understand the difference between an MVP and a final product. An MVP is designed to be quick to market, typically within weeks or months, and includes only the core features necessary to test your assumptions. It involves low development costs and is heavily focused on learning from user feedback. Because of this approach, it is highly adaptable to change. On the other hand, a final product usually involves a much longer development timeline, potentially spanning months or even years. It boasts a comprehensive feature set, higher development costs, a polished user experience, and is a market-proven solution based on the insights gained from the MVP stage. The build, measure, learn cycle is at the heart of the MVP process. It's an iterative approach that helps you refine your product based on real-world feedback. The cycle begins with the build phase, where you create the smallest version of your product that delivers core value. Next is the measure phase. This involves collecting meaningful data about user behavior and product performance. Finally, the learn phase involves analyzing the data you've gathered to either validate your initial assumptions or pivot your strategy based on customer needs. Then you will start the build phase again. Identifying the core features for your MVP is a critical step. Begin by focusing on the user's pain points. What are the most critical problems your users face? Your MVP should aim to solve these specific issues, rather than attempting to address every possible problem. Next, concentrate on your value proposition. Include only the features that directly support your core value proposition. What unique benefit does your product offer? Finally, use a feature prioritization method like the Moscow method, which stands for must have, should have, could have, and won't have. It will help you prioritize features effectively, ensuring that your MVP includes only the most essential elements. Let's take a look at some successful MVP examples. Dropbox started with just a simple explainer video demonstrating the concept, validating demand before any actual product development. Airbnb launched with photos of the founder's apartment and a simple booking form, using manual processes to validate their concept. Buffer began with just a landing page and sign-up form to gauge interest before building any scheduling functionality. Finally, Zappos initially took photos of shoes from local stores, posting them online and purchasing at retail only when customers ordered, proving that you don't need inventory to test a retail concept. From these examples, you can see how MVPs can be implemented in different ways. To ensure the success of your MVP, here are some common mistakes to avoid. First, perfection paralysis. Don't wait for all features to be perfect before launching. An MVP is about learning, not achieving perfection from the outset. Second, Avoid feature creep by adding too many features before validating your core assumptions. Stay focused on the essential problem your product solves. Third, don't ignore feedback by not collecting or acting on user input. The primary purpose of an MVP is to learn from real users. Finally, avoid launching without clear metrics to measure success. Define what you're testing and how you'll know it worked. In conclusion, here are the key takeaways about minimum viable products. Start with the smallest solution that delivers value to your users. This will help you test your assumptions quickly and efficiently. It is important to validate those assumptions before investing in full development, saving you time and resources. Then focus on the build, measure, learn cycle to continuously refine your product based on real-world feedback. And finally, be willing to pivot your strategy based on what you learn from your users. The key to a successful MVP is adaptability. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.